So my name is Anahita. I am 23 years old and I'm from Iran. And I'm currently working as a junior consultant in UNRCO in Iran. And I got to know the Movers program through a project I was working on when I was an intern in UNDP. And that's where I got to know Dinlong, and he encouraged me to join the Movers program. And now I'm a Mover mentor.
Cool, thank you, Anahita. And could you, for everyone who's asking themselves, what is a mover mentor? Could you share a bit, what was your experience as a mover mentor? What did you do? Can you walk us through a bit everything?
Yeah, so I don't know if the audience of this video are going to be familiar with different stages in the movers, but I suppose they will because they probably are already mover facilitators. So when you join the movers journey, you start as an aspiring mover, and that's when you attend at least one workshop. And once you've attended one workshop and you get your certificate, you can organize the exact same module. And once you do that a couple of times and you reach a specific number of audience, you will move to the next stage, which is the mover facilitator. And after you become a mover facilitator, in order to become a mover mentor, which is the next level, you will have to again organize a couple of workshops and reach more audience. But at the same time, you have to mentor a couple of aspiring movers to become mover facilitators. So you have to help a number of aspiring movers organize their own workshop or co-facilitate with you or provide them with mental support and give them motivation. Or you can also practice with them, run through their workshop, and there are different ways that you can mentor an aspiring mover. And so yes, and this is actually not that difficult to do because there are many aspiring movers out there who want to become mover facilitators. They are highly motivated. They just need to work on their public speaking or overcome the fear of organizing their workshop. So as someone who has already done that, you will be able to train them to be good at public speaking. You can help them overcome their fear in case you have already overcome yours. So yes, that's what a mover mentor does.
Thank you, Anahita. I love every aspiring mover, every mover facilitator will have different needs, different kind of support that they need. We'll come back to that. But, very concretely, can you share how did you, identify, how did you find the two aspiring movers that you mentored? I think for you, it's a funny story. But yeah, how did you find them and how did you support them and guide them in their movers journey?
So my story is a bit maybe not like others because I was the only person in my country to be in the movers community, and I wanted to spread the word and help more people join the movers community because it's so cool. And so because of that, when I was organizing my workshops, I was inviting people I knew they were motivated. I know that they cared about some of the topics that are modules of the movers program. And I made a group with them as the movers community in Iran. And so I was talking to them all along and inviting them to join as many movers workshops as they can, because that's what I did when I was an aspiring mover. And so this was going on, but in parallel, in May, if I'm not mistaken, May 2021, there was the Youth Collab Summit. So for the Youth Collab Summit, a couple of mover facilitators, we got together and joined forces to organize a pre-event series for the Entrepreneurship Summit. And in that group, there were many aspiring movers who hadn't ever organized a workshop. So very randomly, we teamed up, and many of them are now mover ambassadors. They're mover community builders, but they organized their first ever workshops as a part of that pre-event series organizing group. And in that group, I don't remember exactly how many aspiring movers we had, but there were more than 2. And so they needed to learn what the process is in general. So in terms of the logistics that they have to take care of, in terms of how to invite, how to handle registrations, how to send the emails and all of that. But at the same time, in general, they wanted to learn how to train other people, how to organize the workshop, how to facilitate it. And many of them were really, really good at it from the very beginning, but some of them actually had the fear that they might screw it up, but they ended up being really, really good at it. And in the process, me, along with a couple of other mover community builders, mover ambassadors, we were there to help them overcome their fears, support them, give them energy, motivation, and cheer for them. And of course, we were there in case any problems came up when they were organizing their workshops. And some of us ran through the whole module with them before their workshop. And yes, so that was it. But after that event, that pre-event, I also encourage the other movers, aspiring movers from Iran, to organize their workshops. And we did that in the next pre-event series, which was for the Climate Week. So we did the climate action modules.
Cool, love it. I think a lot of good learning from your experience. Let me summarize a bit everything, but I think being a mentor is both supporting on very concrete stuff, like, okay, what is the process, what are emails, how to recruit participants, but also being, the safety net, like, okay, we are here, no worries, you will not screw up, but even if you do in a parallel universe, we are here, so no worries.
Yeah.
And yeah, love the fact that you're like, hey, everyone, join many movers workshop as possible. And then you brought your 2 best friends to become movers.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
Triple
perfect. Triple A. Will stay in the legend.
Yeah.
And throughout this, journey of being mover mentor, mentoring aspiring movers, what would you say were your proudest moments and your biggest challenges?
I think my proudest moment was, even though at that moment I was not technically a mover mentor but yet, but was during the very first event of the pre-event series of the Entrepreneurship Summit, which was the opening ceremony. So when we were dividing the tasks, we decided so each person volunteered for one section of the event, and a number of aspiring movers took care of the opening ceremony. And during the opening ceremony, everyone from the audience was so much enjoying the whole thing. They were engaging in the chats, they were enjoying the whole event, and they really wanted to see what's coming next in the pre-event series. So that was a very proud moment for me, because I was saying that even though there was only a short period of time to get ready for the pre-event series, the aspiring movers did such a good job for the opening ceremony. that they were already motivating more and more people to join and to become movers. So they, even though they were aspiring movers, they were already acting like mover mentors. So so that was a very, very proud moment for me. And sorry, I forgot the next question.
Oh, well, and your biggest challenges or
Yeah.
small challenges, just any challenges.
um, I think one of the challenges when you're training other people in general is you assume that they already know some of the stuff that you know, but they don't know them. So when you explain the process, you already assume that some of the aspects of it are clear because you know them. But in fact, it's not clear to them, and you need to elaborate. You need to open every aspect of it. And because of that assumption, that wrong assumption, sometimes people misunderstand, or they simply don't understand, but they are afraid to ask, or they are shy. They just don't want to ask. So I think one of the challenges when one is training other people or mentoring them is to not assume that everything is clear, is to put yourself in the shoes of those who are being mentored, your mentees, and think about everything that is unknown to them, so that you don't leave space for misunderstanding, for ambiguity. And this exactly happened during the entrepreneurship summit, because I remember I was for the emails that we were supposed to send before and after each workshop, in the group we were saying, okay, each mover facilitator or each of the facilitators of each workshop, please don't forget to send the emails. And after a couple of days, one of them texted me and said, what email should I send? And where is there like a sample? Is there a template? To whom shall I send the email? What should I attach? And then at that moment, I paused for a second and told myself, wow, you were assuming that everything is known, when in fact it's your job as a mentor to open everything up, to elaborate. And that's when I realized this is somehow a challenge, because you can't put yourself in the shoes of those who are being mentored. It's a bit difficult to identify the areas which are known or unknown, or clear or ambiguous. But other than that, I think there are some challenges, especially when someone fears public speaking, because that's a fear that's inside them, and you're not a psychologist. And maybe you haven't gone through that fear. So for instance, when I was an aspiring mover, I did not fear public speaking. So I can't imagine if someone fears public speaking, what are they feeling, and what can help them, what can't help them. So that's a bit difficult. So in general, I would say putting yourself in the shoes of your mentees is very challenging.
Oh, it's so interesting because, I think as mentors, we would think, okay, for me, the experience was like this, so it will be the same experience for the mover facilitator or aspiring mover, but
Yes.
not at all. So yeah, such a good point. And yeah, no, in general, like, would you say you have developed some skills, or what else did you learn also from the process?
I think definitely one of the things that I learned was patience. Generally, I'm not a very patient person. I'm very impatient. And And because of the way, that's exactly because of the same point that I was talking about, that people are different, their journey is different, what they're going through is different. So I'm a very organized person, and whenever I'm taking care of something or I have a responsibility, I have a list, I have the timeline, I have everything planned out or mapped out. And when you think that other people are also that way, and they don't take care of something on time, or they don't take care of it in a responsible way, you might get angry, or I generally am not that angry in my life, so that doesn't apply. But you might, you might expect them to be in a certain way when they are not that way. That's not their personality, they're different. And in order to be able to deal with that, you need to be a very patient person, especially for someone who has just started facilitating their very first workshops. You have to walk them through it. In some cases, they need support. So they might actually need you to help them write the email, to find the list of the participants, or all of those steps. And you need to be very patient, because if you assume that they need to learn it quickly, or if you assume or expect them to already know them, it's gonna have negative impact on your relationship with your mentee, but also on yourself and on how that impacts them. So I think, yes, this is definitely one of the things I've learned, patience. And I think this is the highlight, but generally also, of course, the teamwork, because of the Prevent series, leadership, definitely leadership. And yes, that's it.
Yeah, no, again, such a great point. I think patience, because some people, they need some hand holding, some people, they don't need hand holding. So it's about how to understand how aspiring, like one aspiring mover work, and it might be super different from your other mentees. Cool. And maybe what would you, if you had a few tips, advice for anyone who's taking the movement journey, what would you say to them?
Well, the first thing I would say is be very proactive and look out for opportunities where you can mentor other people. So I think one question that people might have when they are a mover facilitator is, how do I become a mentor and how do I find a mentee? And I think for that, you have to be very proactive. So if I had not engaged in the Prevent series, my mover mentor journey would not have started the way it did. And that was because I was proactive in volunteering for organizing that event. And of course, we already have the Discord channel, we have the Facebook group, and I'm sure there are many aspiring movers who are simply looking for someone to help them. And they might not post in the Facebook group, I need a mentor, but you as a mentor or a potential mentor can reach out to them. So you can either contact them directly, or you can post on the Facebook group, hey, is there anyone out there who wants to be mentored and become a mover facilitator? And I think that this kind of proactiveness would go a long way. And of course, it also helps you overcome your fear. But that's tip number one. Tip number two is to exercise patience all along the way, and try to be as clear as possible when you're explaining something. Don't leave room for any unclarity or ambiguity. And tip number three is mentally support your mentees, because I think, of course, each person, each mentee needs different kinds of mentoring, but the mental support always has to be there. So you never know what a person is going through, and you don't know where their fear of public speaking comes from. But regardless of the source or the cause, we are at this point, and at this point it's your job, to your responsibility to support them, to make them feel like they're doing a good job, and help them actually do a good job. But tip number what was the number? I think 4. Tip number 4, if I'm not mistaken, is be very honest. So we don't want to sugarcoat it when someone doesn't do a good job. We don't want to be brutal with them. We don't want to tell them you did a really bad job or something, but we want to give them honest feedback so that they can actually improve. So I think this was some part of the module of leadership level 2 of Movers program. But yes, honest feedback is very important, and you need to, after some time, you need to help people evaluate themselves. And in order to do that, first you have to be honest with them so that they see where they should look at, what they should watch for. And yes, 4 tips it is.
Thank you so much. Actually, I don't need the online module. I should just put this video.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you so much, Anahita. I'm sure it will be super, super helpful for all the mover facilitator who are asking themselves what's going to happen when I'm a mover mentor. Yes, be proactive, reach out to people. Many people want to be mentored. So yeah, thank you for all the tips, for the learnings, all the reflections, Anahita.
You're welcome. It was super fun.